in many cultures, it is customary to honor the dead. Filipinos do this by taking the time to pray the novena, visit a deceased loved one's grave, and on one day in particular, make it a family affair to visit the cemetery, spend the day at the site, and offer food to the dead. When my father was a teenager in Bukidnon, he had a friend named Jun. On the Day of the Dead, he decided that he would take advantage of his neighbor's festivities and take some of the food once everyone had left the cemetery. He told my father all about his plans. My father advised him not to do it and to respect the dead. But Jun didn't believe in spirits or the afterlife. He grabbed an empty sack from home and stayed hidden behind a tree while everyone sang, prayed, and offered food to the souls of their loved ones. On that night, the cemetery was lit up by candles and decorated with fresh flowers. The aroma of home-cooked meals lingered in the air, while everyone sat around, strumming their guitars and singing. He drooled while he eyed all the food he planned on feasting on later that night. Once the coast was clear and everyone left the site, he quietly walked over to numerous graves and started filling his sack up with the deceased one's favorite dish, such as pancit, adobo, and lumpia. It felt as if he had hit the jackpot. He wasn't alone.
Oy, kamusta?
No response. In fact, he didn't even acknowledge his presence.
Nadungog mo ba ko? Haskang bastosa ni mo baya.
So, Jun continued filling up his sack while snacking. Then, Jun couldn't stomach his treat anymore. A foul smell started to linger in the air. It smelled like rotten meat. He thought that maybe the food was starting to spoil after sitting around all day in the heat.
Nasimhot ni mo kana?
Of course, no response. So Jun headed towards the gate with his sack full of food. He passed by the guy on his way out. The creature was stuffing his sack with pieces of a corpse. It looked over at Jun while holding an arm and growled. In a state of shock, Jun dropped everything he was carrying and ran towards the exit all the way home. He told his parents about what he did and apologized for trying to steal food. Anak, that was a Bal Bal. You're lucky that it didn't harm or try to eat you. She explained to him that the Bal Bal is a creature in the Philippines that steals corpses in the night and feeds on its rotting flesh. It has razor-sharp claws and teeth to tear through muscles and bones, and it releases a rancid stench when it feasts. The next day, Jun reported the incident to the policemen, and they hurried over to the cemetery. They reached the place the Bal Bal was at and dug up the grave. They lifted up the heavy coffin, wondering if this was all a joke. But when they opened the coffin, there was a banana tree trunk left inside, with no trace of the corpse.